Hey guys, welcome along to another video and thank you as always for stopping by. Today's video is all about social media and how you as a DJ can grow your social media platforms. In fact, this question was asked in one of the Q&As I did recently, and to be fair, I felt it warranted a whole video, so here we are. Now, in case you're thinking, well, Carl, you're probably not the best person to talk about this because you don't have the biggest social platforms yourself. Well, you're right, I don't have that many subscribers here on YouTube. I don't have tens of thousands of followers on Instagram either. And to address that head on, to be quite honest, I don't really prioritize social media that much in my life. What I can bring to the table and where I can add value to you today is that I have done extensive research into social media platforms. I know exactly how they work. And as a result of that, I can advise you on how to grow your platforms. So with that in mind, I'm going to split this video into two key parts. The first part is actually to give you a bit of knowledge about how all of these social platforms work. I think that's really important. If you understand how they work, you can then formulate a strategy which will enable you to grow. So we'll focus first and foremost on how these platforms work, and then secondly, I'll give you my top tips on how to grow with that knowledge in mind. So without further ado, let's get into the video. So in order to grow on social media, it's first and foremost really important to understand at least a little bit about how all of these platforms work. And fortunately, they all have the same underlying principle, and that is that regardless of if it's Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, Snapchat, YouTube, you name it, they want you, the user, to spend as much time as possible on their platform. That is literally it. Basically, time is money to them. You're not paying them a membership for the privilege of having a login or an account, but what you are paying them with is your time and your attention. It is no coincidence, for example, on Instagram, that if you like loads of pictures of nightclubs and DJ gear, that on your explore page, which is the little page that has the magnifying glass at the bottom, that you're going to see loads of pictures of nightclubs and DJ equipment and other similar interests. Similarly, if you like cars, that is what's going to appear on your feed. If, for example, on YouTube you watch one of my product unboxing videos, it's no surprise that on the right-hand side, those suggested videos that you might go on to watch next are going to be similar topics and similar videos because it thinks you like this type of content, so it's going to suggest similar stuff for you to watch. It is also no secret that Facebook and some of these other social platforms hire people that have had careers working for gambling companies and know how to make things addictive. That is literally how desperate they are for your attention. So with this all in mind, why is your time so valuable to these platforms? Why does Facebook, Instagram, whatever it may be, want you to spend so much time? And ultimately, time is basically money. These platforms all make money from advertising, and the more time you spend on the platform means the more adverts you're going to see whilst you're spending time there. So essentially, the more adverts you see, the more money these platforms all generate. They do not care about you as an individual viewer, they care about advertising revenue, and that is the cold hard truth of it. The way the payment model is set up on all of these platforms, it means that every time an advert is seen, so an impression, even if you scroll past it, the company, the advertiser, is paying for that privilege. All right, so I've given you the knowledge about how these platforms work, or well, the basics anyway. How can you then use this information to grow on these social media platforms? Well, this is where I come in and give you some tips, right? So my first top tip for you is to focus on one or two platforms at a time. There are so many social media platforms, whether it's Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, Snapchat, TikTok, YouTube. I can't even keep up with how many platforms there are now. And do you know what? If you want to have accounts on all of them, that's absolutely fine. But if you want to try and grow on all of them at once, it is not going to be great for your health. And number two, you are just going to burn out. You're probably just going to be creating content non-stop, and you probably won't be that successful because each platform requires specific content. So I would say focus on one, maximum two, and focus on creating content specific for that platform. When it comes to myself, YouTube is my key thing that I want to do at the moment, and I do a bit of Instagram as well. Like sometimes I'm not that bothered by it. That's just me. So focus on one or two. Now there's no harm in having an account on all of the platforms that you want to have an account on, and you might keep things ticking over on them, so you might invest a little bit of time here and there just to create a bit of presence on those, but you want one or two maximum sort of focused platforms. Rolling straight on to tip number two then, and that is about engagement. Engagement. Engagement should be the core of your content strategy, all right? It should be at the center. Focus specifically on engagement. Don't even worry about the number of followers, subscribers that you have. That will come naturally later if you are creating engaging content. Why is engagement so important? Well, as we know, these platforms want users to stay on their platform for as long as possible. How does that happen? Through people watching content that captivates them, that engages them, okay? Take, for example, this YouTube channel, right? This particular video. My primary aim is to help you guys. I want you to go away thinking, do you know what? I've learned something. My ultimate aim is to create a nice piece of content for you to watch, enjoy, and hopefully you'll watch it from start to finish. Maybe if you've liked it and gained some value, you'll leave me a thumbs up. That's really, really helpful. By the way, hint, hint, if you haven't done so, please do give me a thumbs up if you are enjoying the video. But ultimately, if a viewer watches this video from start to finish and they give me a thumbs up, that's a positive indicator to YouTube to say that it's a good piece of content, it's an engaging piece of content. And as a result, YouTube will push that video out to a greater number of people who it thinks will also gain value from this video. Using Instagram as a second example, well, gone are the days where you can post a single photo and expect to get loads of engagement and loads of followers off the back of a single photo. Because Instagram have now incorporated Reels, which is short form video, sort of TikTok style, stories, and also just straight video content. Okay, you can still obviously post photos on Instagram, but at the heart of your strategy needs to be the amount of time someone is stopping to view your content. You can scroll past a photo in a second, but on the flip side of that, if they're stopping to watch a video, maybe they're going to stop on your piece of content for 10 to 15 seconds. And as a result, it then triggers the Instagram algorithm to push that piece of content out to more people. If you're doing photos, that's absolutely fine, but how about using the carousel feature? Because if someone stops to view your photo, at least then they have to scroll through a few photos rather than looking at one photo for a fraction of a second and then moving on really, really quickly. So use all the tools at your disposal to create engaging content. And I would say Instagram especially, you need to be using video content, reels, stories, a combination of everything to create that engaging content that's going to draw people to your page, because what you want is Instagram to push your content as much as possible. So in case you hadn't already guessed, engagement is at the center of everything. That is your key to unlocking growth on social platforms, all right? But how do you create engaging content? What even is engaging content? Well, that is tip number 3, and I would say is create engaging content by adding value to someone, okay? This is content that either solves a problem or answers someone's question first and foremost. So for example, with this video, hopefully you will go away thinking, do you know what, I've gone away and I've learnt something today. Or you can create videos that entertain people. So if you're a DJ, which many of you watching this channel are, you can create little videos of your transitions and live mashups, that kind of thing, and that entertains people. Or you can create something that's quite funny and entertains people through laughter. Those are sort of three ideas, but you've got to think about adding value to someone. Okay, so final tip for you today on growing your social media, and that is to have patience with it. Social media is definitely a marathon and not a sprint, and do not take shortcuts in doing it. Take, for example, YouTube. There is loads of studies and loads of videos out there, but it takes on average the average channel to have 90 videos, that's 90 videos, to grow to 1,000 subscribers. So for this channel, where I upload once a week, and that's the time that I can dedicate to this channel, okay, that's gonna take me around 2 years. So I'm fully aware of that, and I fully expect that. Unless you know how to go viral by doing some silly stuff on social media, it is going to take a little bit of time to grow on these platforms. Now, the beauty of YouTube is that it's search engine optimized. So if people are searching for a particular topic, you know, I could have made a video on that topic 6 months ago, and old content can suddenly gain traction. It can gain views, which is great. Instagram and other social media platforms don't have that advantage. So when it comes to Instagram, for example, to grow, you're going to have to create a lot more what I would call one-hit wonder pieces of content in order to grow. You need to create content constantly in order to grow, because content is a lot harder to search for on a channel like Instagram. All right, but just be patient with it. I would also recommend that you do not cut corners when it comes to social media. I know there are lots of services out there, for example, where you can buy followers, you can buy likes, that kind of thing. But if, for example, further down the line, you want to do brand deals, you want to be sponsored by particular companies, that kind of thing, well, they'll see through that in an instant, because number one, if you've got, say, 10,000 followers on Instagram and you're only getting 30 to 40 likes a post, well, that is pretty suspicious. Similarly, there are services out there like Social Blade. It's just a website whereby anyone can do a health check on your account, and it will give you a score depending on how many real followers that website thinks you have versus how many fake followers. And all companies will be doing these types of checks before they decide to work with a particular person. So there we have it, guys, my tips for growing on social media. I hope that you found this video useful and enjoyable. If you did, please do give me a thumbs up. It helps my little channel to grow, and it might help somebody else that's in a similar situation as yourself. And I will see you in the next video.